I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to speed up your website and improve the crawlability for SEO purposes. And it's actually quite easy because what we're going to do is edit what's called a robots text. Now, it sounds pretty complicated. It sounds like you need to know a lot of code, but you don't really, okay? So I've got a little template for you below this video. It might look something like this, right? And this is specifically for WordPress. And why I mention that is because you'll find little areas where it's specific to WP admin. Now, if you've got a Shopify website or a Wix website or something else, then you might want to just Google it and say how to edit my robots text for, Shopify, so you know exactly where to go find that. But basically, if you do have Shopify or Wix, you can just tell ChatGPT to edit this for Shopify or Wix so that you're, omitting all of the WordPress specific stuff. Now that we've covered that, you might want to edit this before you actually proceed to the next step, simply because these are placeholders, like hello@example.com, or, sitemap is this, whatever. So what you want to do is copy this prompt into ChatGPT, into the high, if you go into, let's say, a new one, and then you just make sure you go to 04 mini high, because that's the coding one. It might be different by the time you watch this video. You then just paste this in. You'll want to, of course, well, in this case, put the robots text, like copy the whole thing. So you go and drag that whole thing, copy it in, and then go back over to ChatGPT, paste that in, and then put your details in. So your website, you might have just like copy the actual website URL. We're doing a bad job here, but we're going to do it. There we go. And the sitemap, you'll usually find that in your Google Search Console. So you might find the sitemap URL here, and you could copy that. And then you can go back over to ChatGPT, paste that in, and you could put your email in here if you want. That's optional, right? And then you hit enter, and then it's going to rewrite the exact code for you so that you can copy and paste for the next step. Let's get on to the next step. Where do you find this thing in WordPress? So on WordPress, make sure you install RankMath. It's a very, very handy tool. I use it for every WordPress website we have. Once you've installed it, go into your general settings of that plugin, then click Edit Robots Text. And then there it is. I've already done it, right? So let me explain the benefits of a robots text. Why the heck would you even need to edit this thing and not keep it as default? I've prepared a little something for you just to actually go through this, because I think it's one of the things that people don't really break down or explain to you as much, and I want to, be the one to do that for you. Okay, so as we go through the robots text, you'll notice little pieces of code throughout, and I'm going to explain how each one kind of works, right? So with the crawl delay, this basically helps tell bots how to behave on your website, because at the moment, by default, they can crawl your website as fast and as much as they want. And sometimes they can make dozens and dozens of requests in a few seconds, which can, of course, slow down your server and affect how your website actually loads. This little script here tells them to wait at least 5 seconds between requests, and it reduces the strain on your servers so that it keeps it more, as soon as you install this, and you'll see this, that your website in the backend will dramatically load faster compared to how it was before, simply because you're telling them to like freaking slow down, stop crawling my website so much, and then just like take your time, right? And so this improves, of course, your SEO as well, because it just improves the website site speed. And then if Google is crawling your website from the search engine bot, then obviously it's going to give it a better score or rating because the website was pretty fast when it first loaded. So that's something to take into consideration when you're going through this robots text. Let's go over the next one. This is WordPress specific. So this allows all of your private pages from being indexed or being crawled, so that you don't have your sensitive areas on your website being, crawled, and you don't want that to be on search engines, right? Now you can non-index this stuff sometimes, but this puts extra security so that bots definitely don't crawl it. So that's a big one to have. If you've got Shopify or Wix or something like that, then you'll have to instruct ChatGPT with the code to make sure that it changes this to Shopify specific code. Let's go over to the next one. So the block comment, this is also for WordPress, because what happens is if you've installed some sort of commenting system on your blogs or pages, whenever someone makes a comment, it will generate a new unique URL, and you don't want that, right? You don't want bots to crawl those because it's a waste of space and it's not valuable. So this basically tells the bots to block all of those, so it's only focusing on the main blog post or the main page and not crawling all these extra like reply URLs, right? The next one is actually really big for e-commerce. It's the search settings. It can also be big for blogs. where basically every time someone uses your website to search something on the search bar, a new page is created, and it's a headache. And if you own a Shopify website, you would know this, right? It's a massive, massive headache because it's terrible for SEO. So you end up with thousands of low value pages that get crawled, and it wastes all of your crawl budget, right? So you don't want that. You don't want your crawl budget being spent on low value pages at all. So this just tells them to not crawl those pages because it's a waste of space, right? So this helps the crawlers spend more time on your actual articles instead of, crawling thousands and thousands of pages that you don't want. For this one here, sometimes what happens is when you've got a main version of a page or a blog post and you've got paginated versions on your blog archive, sometimes your website builder can create different versions and have like different URLs attached to the end of your blog post URL. And so it can confuse the bot sometimes, and you don't really want to do that. You want the bot to spend all of its time on the main version of the page. And so this will help eliminate against that, or at least remove some of that clutter in the back end where bots spend their crawl budget. The same with PDFs and videos and, like YouTube, for example. If you embed a YouTube video, sometimes you'll embed like video stats or Loom videos and things like that. And this will help prevent crawling these because you want to make sure it stays focused on the HTML content. The next thing is paginated content. So you want to make sure that bots by default do not avoid your paginated pages. You want to make sure that they crawl all of the inner different archives of your blog posts or pages that are really, really old so that they remain indexed and crawled constantly for fresh new content. So usually bots will stop crawling after page 1 and they won't actually click to 2, 3, 4, 5 on the paginated versions. And so this will help it obviously allow that, so at least it crawls a few more extra pages that you have. Now, if your web builder has a different structure for your paginated content, you might want to change this and how that operates, and you can work with ChatGPT on how to do that. This one's really important if you want AI to crawl your website so that it can be indexed for ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity and all these kind of stuff. If you want to keep it proprietary and safe from AI, then don't remove this from the robots text. But if you want to be crawled and you want to get, because I see customers all the time actually get referenced in like ChatGPT, for example, and they get sales from it, right? So it could be a good thing. And so I think it's a good thing personally, but it really just depends on your use case. But I recommend obviously installing this if you can. And so this one here is for Googlebot. So if you want to show up on Google News and things like that, make sure you're allowing them to crawl your feeds and your RSS feeds. So this is for that one there. What else do we have? Your sitemap. So you don't really need this, but this gives the bots a bit more clarity on where to find all the pages on your website. You might want to add not only just your sitemap, but also your posts and pages and things like that. This is optional, so you can remove this if you want. And then what we've got here is the host is basically sometimes different bots treat your www and your non-www versions of your website is different. And so this will help consolidate it under the one domain for you and tell the bot, hey, treat them the same. And then finally, this is totally optional, but it's basically if you want anyone from, a search engine team to actually contact you, this is how they can do it because they can actually find your details. So you can actually type robots.txt at the end of your website. So if we do that, robots.txt, and this is what bots see, but people can actually see this too, right? On most websites, if people type in robots.txt. So that's everything. You know how to install this. You know how to edit it with ChatGPT. You know the reason why this is important for your website, and you'll start to notice your website loads dramatically faster as soon as you install this into it. So I'm really, really excited to see what this does for you. And if you've got any questions, leave them below and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.